today we have the great pleasure of interviewing the mayor of Paterson, Mayor Andre. Thank you for taking the time.
The pleasure's mine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Hey,
I also want.
student of mine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Did you earn an A?
Yes, I did.
Did you enjoy the class?
I did enjoy the class.
You're just saying that because we're on camera. Okay.
I really wanted to thank you also because I grew up in Paterson and I could see what's going on. I could tell you care about the city. I could tell
We're
you
doing our best.
Yes, I could tell you care about its people, and we go to interview meetings a lot, and we want to let people know why they should consider Paterson when they're investing.
Of course.
Yeah. So first question right off the bat is why Paterson? Why invest in Paterson and why now?
I believe Paterson is the next frontier. There are a lot of municipalities in the state that have undergone growth. For example, you've had like the Weehawkens, the Edgewaters, the Jersey Cities.
Right.
So they're running out of real estate, or they may be pricing people out, and Paterson is the next frontier. Like, where else are you going to go? And there are so many benefits to Paterson. One, the proximity to New York City. We're in the backyard of our largest city here in the United States, so there is access to it. We have a train station that gets you ultimately to New York City. So that's one advantage as far as our location is concerned. Then also the diversity of the city. There's just so many different ethnic groups. Last time I counted, they're saying like 70 plus nationalities that live here in Paterson. Okay. So in addition to the geography, it's also a matter of the diversity of people. Like we have such a diverse demographic breakdown here. And then the history, look behind me, you got the Great Falls.
All right, that's great.
So so our vision, and we have an ambitious vision, that's what drives us, is to make sure that we turn the Great Falls into a top-notch tourist destination. And yes, you could use tourism and Paterson in the same sentence without laughing. So that's our goal.
True.
That's our goal. So we have money to build a first-class visitor and education center named for Paterson's founder, Alexander Hamilton. There goes the history too, right? Founding father. He's on your $10 bill, first Secretary of Treasury. So there's the history there. Then Hinchliffe Stadium, it's been fallow for 20 plus years, like 23 years. And it's a historic ballpark. It's one of only 2 ballparks that hosted Negro League games that still exist.
Right.
Rickwood Field, Birmingham, Alabama was the other one.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned about the Great Fall, how that it was energy for the factories back in the day.
Very good. We harnessed it. Hydropower.
Right.
Excellent. You learned something in that class. I like that. Yeah, so we're doubling down on our parks because it's shown that property values tend to increase around parks that are maintained because people want places to play where they can perform recreational activities, that type of thing. So yesterday we announced $1 million makeover for a park downtown named for one of the most prominent Pattersonians ever to live, Lou Costello. And so the $1 million portion of it is going to go towards a playground that, for the first time in Paterson, will accommodate children with autism.
Oh wow, that's great.
And I want to validate what I said earlier about property values increasing. Some of the highest property values in New York City are around Central Park. So if you maintain your parks and people want to be there and they want to be within a walking distance of a place to play or a place to engage in recreational activities, that'll help your property values.
Yeah, and that's actually why I thanked you too, is because I saw that stadium just sitting there for many years, and I follow you on Facebook. I follow the news for Paterson, and I see that something's getting done now.
It's not easy. I mean, every day it's about moving. If I can use a football analogy, moving the ball down the field. And I think ultimately we're going to score a touchdown with everything we're doing, but it's going to take time. I always preach patience, and what I tell people, I want to tamp down expectations. I say I'm a mayor, not a magician.
Are there any incentives in place, or do you plan to put any incentives in place?
Well, as of right, there's an abatement process, like on any new construction in Paterson. So depending on how it's structured, it could be 5 years, it could be 20 years, where you don't pay taxes on the new construction. Also, from the federal government, and this is a bipartisan effort, you have a Republican senator and a Democratic senator. They crossed the aisle and collaborated. That's Senator Tim Scott, who's a Republican, and then our very own from New Jersey, Senator Cory Booker, came up with the Opportunity Zone initiative, where anyone who wants to invest in, let's say, what they designate a distressed city that's underdeveloped as far as economic opportunities are concerned, you have an incentive package where that investor does not pay capital gains taxes for a certain amount of time, depending on how, again, you structure the deal.
Great.
Now, what are some of the things that you're proud of achieving as a mayor since you took office?
Okay, so I stated the parks.
Right.
That's something that I'm certainly most proud of. I'll give you one example. We have on Chamberlain Avenue, Buckley Park. We invested $1 million in that new field, and now Kennedy High School can use it for practice. because they were practicing on unsuitable sites. And students can get injured, and that's like a lawsuit waiting to happen. So Buckley Park, now we just talked about $1 million makeover for Brandy's Field. It's going to get almost the same level of quality. It's going to be high quality. So I'm proud of that. The Armory, another structure, historic structure, iconic structure in Paterson, that we are going to be breaking ground on that in a couple weeks. So it's happening. It's going to happen. Yes, the parks. You'll see a lot of improvement with the parks. And quite frankly, we're taking initiatives to improve public safety. We have a new police chief. We got a grant. A lot of grants are coming into Paterson. The hospital-based violence intervention grant. So that helps when someone gets shot in Paterson, unfortunately. When they go to the hospital, the first or only person they see is a police officer interrogating them. Well, what if a trained counselor approached that individual like a human being? Well, treating them like a human being, not to say they're police officers or not, but more like digging deeper into that person's background and saying, like, what's your employment situation like? What's your housing situation like? What's your education situation like? So we can prevent you from getting shot or shooting. So if you're a recidivist, we want to end that cycle of retaliation. So we're working on that as well. Because a safer city means a stronger city. So
that's great.
Public safety is paramount.
And we were actually that was gonna be one of our questions.
Sure.
What you're doing to crack down on crime.
And I just was on the phone with Everytown for gun safety, and I said, we got to train people from within the community to serve as violence interrupters. So, like, if they know you're a shooter and you're a shooter, they can work with you and say, there's a better path. There's a better path for you.
Yeah.
As opposed to just, like, the cycle of violence.
Right. That's great. Yeah, because investors care about that type
They
of stuff.
certainly do.
Yeah. Something else they care about is taxes.
Oh, yes.
Do you have any plans to keep taxes from going up?
Yeah, here's the plan. This is for investors. You come into Paterson and increase our rateable base, then that'll drive down taxes, because then we're incorporating new revenue streams, because that's what we need. And speaking of new revenue streams, I'm proud of the fact that Paterson was awarded a medical marijuana license, a company from Paterson.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I saw that on YouTube.
Yes, so the dispensary, there's a medical marijuana dispensary on Route 20. It's called Rise, appropriately enough. And about 90 to 95% of the employees are Pattersonians. So they hired people from Paterson, and they're contributing to the tax base in Paterson. So when you expand your rateable base, that lessens the burden on the rest of the people. So we're proud of that.
You mentioned about diversity, right? In the city of Paterson. How can, as a business, how can people take advantage of that diversity?
Of course. So you obviously want to appeal to the individuals that are here, whether they're Latino, Bangladeshi, Arab, African American, Jamaican. So you want to tailor whatever it is that you are presenting to them, to their needs. Like, for example, if you were thinking about a shopping market, shopping center, you might want to have products that reflect where some of these folks came from, so you can accommodate them. So it's important to have some type of point of difference, because that's one of Paterson's points of difference, the diversity. So you want to capitalize on that. And so you want to tailor whatever product you have towards that.
And also Main Street, right? You have like Latin food in one section.
Go ahead.
And then you have like Jamaican food or the
Arab and Turkish.
Arabs.
So there's a portion of South Paterson which is really thriving right now. It's probably the most vibrant business sector in the city, and I affectionately refer to it as the halal meatpacking district. So New York has their meatpacking district. We have halal because halal is like clean and pure and Arabic, and that's like how they prepare their food, akin to being kosher.
Great. Well, again, it was a pleasure having you on the
Pleasure's
interview.
mine.
And just one last thing.
Yeah.
You have a lot of young people who watch this, a lot of young entrepreneurs. Do you have any advice for the young entrepreneurs?
So my advice is don't be afraid to take that leap of faith. I believe Paterson is worth the investment, and you will get the ROI. You'll get that return on your investment. One thing that's also going to help businesses, and when you make your decision where you want to invest, the census. Paterson is taking the census very seriously. We're looking to get that complete, accurate count. I think we got out the gate really fast, and we're just going to maintain that momentum and build it to a crescendo for the census, because people do make business decisions based on the census numbers.
Correct. Again, I really want to thank you for having us.
Hey, the pleasure was an honor.
Thank you for watching the video. Make sure you share it, hit the subscribe button. We have a lot of surprises coming along the way.